We got System Kids for the second episode of Premier Music Podcast. So Jack, tell us a little bit about yourself, just a quick introduction, the kind of music you make, like maybe your favorite artist, and what you've been up to lately.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, my name is Jack. I go by the name System Kids. I make like not even future-based, melodic and dubstep-oriented records. What I've been up to lately, been really working on music and kind of getting ready for the whole entire year. I got a single coming out tonight. I'm pretty excited. So that'll be, and it's a little different because it's dubstep-oriented. They haven't made a dubstep single in
Okay.
too long.
Okay.
So I'm kind of a little bit nervous, but I'm excited. I'm excited for something a little different than the normal, kind of like melodic style. So change up a little bit.
With the song coming out in just a couple hours, basically, why don't we talk about that first?
Yeah.
So definitely kind of tells a story, right?
Yeah.
Video games influenced by that. So maybe like, what's your interpretation of the song? Like, what did you have in mind when you were making it?
Yeah. So the whole kind of like ordeal of how this came about is like dubstep, is dubstep. I think it's amazing. I wanted to kind of do something different than the standard dubstep. So I just love video games. And I was like, what if I kind of combine the two and shout out Ray Volpe, because Ray Volpe had the Game Over single that I thought was super
was a big
unique.
one, yeah.
Super unique in itself. So I was like, well, no one really is doing, arcade style dubstep. So I want to try something different. So I was like, all right, what if I generate a world where, it's you enter a video game, but then it's kind of like it starts off, easy, and as you progress through the levels, it gets harder and harder and harder. So that's kind of the concept I built around it. Was it starts easy, gets harder, and it goes back to easy because it's like, oh, maybe you died, or you have to restart or something like that, and that's like kind of like the next progression of the song.
Nice.
So I kind of like, whenever I make music in general, I always try to build like a world around it, just to kind of like when the listeners listening to the song, I want to like let them also kind of like vision like what is this, like holy smokes, like where am I right now? Because you can kind of tie that with like shows and stuff too, which I think it could be really cool.
Yeah. So this is your first song in a while.
It is.
At least original track.
Original,
completely.
yeah.
You had a lot of remixes lately.
Yes.
But your other recent original work was the Rise EP.
It was.
4-track EP, your debut,
Yes,
right?
debut EP.
So like, what are you most proud of with that project being your debut original work? Kind of talk about that a little bit. Like, how was that?
Yeah. I mean, it was just like, I've never done anything like it, so it's super unique in itself as a whole. I kind of wanted to really like embody, like future bass as a whole in terms of like when I was listening to future bass growing up, like how did it make me feel? And I kind of wanted to relive that again with like the nostalgia aspect of it. So I tried to like kind of really focus on like chords and synths and stuff like that to kind of like make the listener like the wow factor, just try to keep them engaged. Like, I thought it was just like, it was cool because I've never done anything like that, and I kind of want to do something different I haven't done, because I've been doing remixes forever, and I really want to get original work out there. So I was like, all right, how would System Kids want to do this? So I wanted to like just kind of go like the future bass route, like the future bass kind of era of all that stuff, and bring that back with like, with like OG Porter Robinson, all those like things you're like, holy smokes, like this is so cool.
Yeah.
So that was like the main
Just
idea
happy,
of it.
it's a good vibe.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Because it's like, if I can master that as you're listening, is that feel good, my job is done.
Sure.
That was my goal with that. It's just like, just feel good, listen it, have a good time.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool too, because so before I actually released it, the video of Jump, there was a bunch of videos. There was like, it was pretty cool because it was kind of curated of like having good times with friends, or these random people, shout out all these people who made these, were like doing like, stuff on the back of their boat, or just kind of like summertime stuff. So I was like, wow, this kind of matches the vibe, everything of like, the nostalgia of like feel good, like doing, stuff that makes you happy with your friends and whatnot. So that was kind of the whole premise of it. And, it was different. I wanted to try something. I'm honestly so happy it came out. And then, we did the pizza pop-up after, which was honestly so much fun. And that was crazy in itself too, because I've never done a pop-up, so it's fun to, and like, especially in Chicago, with like pizza being kind of our forte. I was like, this is gonna be sweet.
I hope you picked a good pizza place.
Yeah, we did. I'm having a brain fart right now. I was over in Wicker Park. Oh my gosh.
So what was that party like? That was for your EP release?
Yeah, so the EP release.
Kind of talk about like some of the other shows you played here. We're both in Chicago right now. We're both from the area. What does the city mean to you, and like what have you done here in Chicago?
Yeah, I mean, the city's everything to me, to be honest with you. As cliche as it sounds, I love it. I love being from Chicago. I brag about it wherever I go.
Same.
It's just the best city ever.
Right.
We have everything we want plus more. Being from Chicago and playing in like downtown is just super kind of like homecoming type of thing. The last one, trying to think actually the Jessica Audiffred show, which at Concord, which is, you know,
Okay.
it's really cool growing up and going to these concerts or these venues, and like, you know, it's like the what if, you know, like what if I play there, and you actually you get done with the set, you're like, holy smokes, I just played there type of thing. You know, it's just like, it's cool because, you know, being from Chicago, we have so many sweet venues that are so iconic throughout the days and ages, everything.
Yeah.
So I think it's fun nonetheless. But in terms of like, you know, shows that I just love was like Concord was just the best. They always
For Jessica Audiffred?
Yeah, that they always do just the phenomenal, always awesome. North Coast, that was my first playing festival and also attending, which is wild. And then, you know, playing even House of Blues. Shout out Kaivon and his whole team for that. That one was pretty nostalgic because it's like House of Blues. Well, actually, it's kind of funny about that one is while we were doing sound check, I just looked up at the whole entire like ceiling the whole time because there's so much going on.
There.
It was unbelievable. It was like I was like, wow, I'm actually playing.
You made it.
I'm like, oh my god, which is fun, you know. And it's just like there's so much that goes down here, and like the show is everything. I think it's really cool with the community at these shows too. You know, meeting people at the shows, outside the shows. You know, I could just go on and on and on to be honest with you.
Sure. You've also played a lot in other cities.
I have.
So where have you played within the last couple of years? Like, who have you opened for, and what cities were they in?
Yeah. So let's think here. Probably, I mean, the top two come to mind is definitely the Rave in Milwaukee was iconic. Me and Salo and I did like a random back-to-back at the end. We're like, all right, let's just do this, which is crazy.
After Diesel? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, after Diesel. And that venue is iconic, you know, just because it's like, it's been around forever. And we were able to see the Mac Miller signature in the basement.
Nice.
So that was cool.
Dope.
And then, I mean, even playing the EDC Orlando after party with Illenium was really cool. You know, just that whole like kind of festival vibe was unique, you know, outside of like a regular show type of thing.
Yeah.
So it was cool. And then Exchange LA was definitely one. I was like the wow factor, you know, going, you know, always it's like, oh, LA, you know, that big kind of thing, especially being from the Midwest. So going out there and playing like that scale of venue was like just mind blowing.
For sure.
It's really cool to see like how different crowds react to, you know, different like states, and it's cool because everyone is unique in themselves, and you look back on it like, wow, like, you know, that's cool.
Yeah. So like, you're obviously an amazing producer. We talked about your new music a little bit, and we'll talk about it more later. But what's some advice for someone that you could give someone that wants to play shows but is really in a studio all the time?
Yeah.
Like, I think you were kind of saying earlier, you really just make the music and kind of it goes from there. But what's kind of some secrets in the industry to like get those bookings?
Yeah. So obviously, you know, the easiest thing to say is like go out there and get your name out there. But I think, you know, once you get out there and you meet these people, because everyone is just like us, like, you know, everyone's just living their life, you know, just everyone's, you know, everyone's normal. Like, you know, that's how I look at it. But I think like the biggest things are music is obviously going to be number one priority. You want to make sure, you know, your records are sounding what you want, because once you kind of put a sound to the name, it just make things a little bit easier, you know, when you're doing bookings. But in terms of, you know, getting your name out there, definitely just get familiar with like who the talent bookers are, just type the whole community, you know, just be yourself. Go out there, meet these people, introduce yourself, you know, because you could make a lifetime best friend you never knew about type of thing. And then, you know, just playing like local shows. You know, everyone wants to, you know, play the Lollapaloozas and the big stages, but like a lot of people forget that you have to play the small shows when there's gonna be no one there. Like you gotta kind of do your due diligence.
Sure.
And that means like, if you're getting those opportunities, take them and go with them. Like, go have fun. Like, it's okay if the room's not filled. Like, go have fun with it. There's always so much pressure built around it, but, you know, definitely prioritize just making music as a whole, because obviously you want to get a sound, you want to make songs and stuff like that. And then, just getting really familiar with like your local scene, and then, you know, just with social media too. With social media, I feel like there's such a big reach nowadays, where, you know, there's Discord chats and everything. That's how I've actually met a lot of people through Discord. So it's like, you know, you make a Discord account, join a bunch of kind of Discord communities, and just see, you
For
know,
like specific artists, or kind of like collectives of record labels and stuff?
Yeah, so it's kind of like a mixture. So there's like, you know, every artist has like a Discord.
Right.
And then you're going to have like collectives, and then you have like, you know, remix Discords, and you have like edit Discords. So just basically join all of them, you know, and just kind of see, like, introduce yourself and see, because it's kind of funny. Once you start doing that, you'll have so many more mutual friends than you would ever even expect.
They're doing the same thing as you.
Exactly.
They're producers also.
Yeah.
But yeah, how would someone find those Discords, like for people that are remixing tracks?
Yeah.
Like, how'd you find them?
So I originally joined a Discord called Edit Club, and then another one I joined was it was called Trap Fam, I want to say, but now it's called Otherworld. They turned it into a label.
Okay.
Shout out Chris, shout out RJ for doing that. And then, so we just like kind of just like shoot the shit in there, you know, just like throw songs back and forth. And then we got kind of super comfortable, you know, with like saying stuff. And then we became like lifetime friends. Like I talk to RJ all the time. And then basically from there is, you know, just like getting to know like how other people produce. Because then I also think it's important because when you do that, you can also learn like different techniques and then you can apply that to your type of style and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, in terms of like where to find them, a lot of people have them in bios. I'm trying to think of like, because Otherworld has one in their bio. And then once you kind of find one, you can kind of like see the other ones. Because they'll usually be like or not usually, but sometimes there's like, oh, there's like more Discords here type of thing. Or a lot of people have been promoting them on social media lately. So it's like, I guess on stories and stuff like that, but it's only up for 24 hours, so it's kind of luck of the draw. But yeah, I would definitely say Instagram bios. And then even like joining artist ones, because, you know, let's say the artist, like, let's say you join like my Discord, for example, and there's another individual in there who's also part of another Discord. I think there's a way you can like check out which ones other people are in once you friend them.
Sure. How important is it for you to like connect and collaborate with people like that? I'm sure it's a really good way to learn new things, right?
Yeah.
How important has that been for you?
I think it was super important, honestly. You know, where I'm at right now, I think the reason I am where I am is because of Discord, to be honest with you, and like getting to know these other artists who are, you know, everyone's trying to step up their game to the best level they can with getting their sound and everything. So I think it's super important because you just learn so many tricks and stuff like that. In terms of, let me like elaborate, is like working in Ableton. I was able to learn so many, you know, different like methods of making melodies, chords, progressions, and just like song structures as a whole. Just some like doing other collaborative sessions from like artists and stuff like that, and just like making, you know, just trying to collabs on different songs, like how they approach, you know, different melodies, how do I do different chords, you know, like by the way you do layers, like it's pretty cool. I could go on and on and on about it, but yeah, I feel like, you know, the collaborative aspect of it is you can just learn so many tricks and stuff like that then you can apply to your sound. And just kind of go from there.
You mentioned Ableton. That's your DAW.
It is. It's my
Did
DAW
you
choice.
Experiment with other ones first, or do you always use
No.
Ableton?
So I was kind of just putting Ableton.
It's the best one, right? The most like it can do anything basically.
I could not agree more. It's the best. I love it to the day I die. Ableton is the best. But the reason why I got into Ableton is my cousin. He was working in Ableton back in 2018 or even earlier, and he had Ableton, so that's how I got familiar with it versus like FL and all those other ones. So I kind of didn't have a chance to check them out, so I was like immediately into Ableton, and I'd watch like, you know, streams and stuff like that, and everyone's using Ableton. So I was like, oh, this is, I guess, is this like universal? I didn't really know any better, so I was like, oh, I think I got it right. And then from there, we just stayed in Ableton since.
What about plugins? We just had the release of Serum 2, right? Are you in Serum?
Crazy, Serum 2. I couldn't believe, I was so like bamboozled. I was like, wait, what? Like there's Serum 2? It's unbelievable. It's
I haven't looked at it yet.
It's sweet.
I read a lot about it on Twitter. People are talking about it a lot.
It's awesome. The user interface is really cool. There's this, I mean, I'm not like a sound design expert, so, you know, correct me if I'm wrong here.
I don't know if I might argue with you on that. Like your music would say otherwise. Honestly.
But there's just like so much other things, there's so many other things you can do in the new Serum versus like, you know, the original Serum. I still haven't gone through like in-depth Serum 2 yet. I'm trying to find time to do it.
It just came out. So.
Exactly. And I've been seeing it everywhere on Twitter, and all these people are already making some cool stuff. So I'm like, I gotta check this out
for sure.
But yeah, I mean, I thought it was really cool that Serum 2 was free when you had previous Serum.
It's nice.
That was just like the nicest thing that they could have done.
You
know, especially nowadays with plugins being a little bit pricier. I was like, wow, like that's generous.
Talking about plugins and stuff, like let's talk about your creative process. So we touched upon like original tracks earlier, so we'll start with original tracks. Maybe just some advice for beginning producers, you know, experimenting with different plugins and DAWs and finding your sound. Like obviously that's a big question, but what would be some advice you would have for aspiring producers in that sense?
In terms of like finding your sound and really experimenting is like from like my personal way of looking at it. I don't know if it's biased or not, but what I would do is essentially like listen to a bunch of music that I really liked, you know, and like you could replicate that, but then if you replicate that, you know, is it true to you type of thing? So I would just kind of like find five
Find
references.
Okay.
Tongue-
Reference tracks?
Yeah, reference
Yeah.
tracks. Tongue twister.
Yeah.
And then use them as just kind of like what I would want to do, but in a sense where I would use
Okay.
it for like structure.
Sure. Like the song structure and
Exactly.
different parts of the song.
Yeah, because like you could like remake a song, but then it's like it's not really you type of thing.
Right.
So what I would do is just kind of do that, and then once you kind of got the repetition down of just like making song structures, and then you can start kind of applying like your specific sound to it. And then like in terms of like referencing out sounds, I would just find a bunch of stuff I like, and I wouldn't try to find like one specific route. I would try to find like a variety of stuff.
Sure.
So that could be from bass music to house music to techno to like, you know, maybe pop music, melodic stuff, and basically try to make like a melting pot for all of them. But
What about like samples? Do you use like Splice, or where do you find most of the stuff that you use in your songs?
so it kind of varies. I use Splice forever, but RIP Splice.
That monthly subscription fee gets
Yeah,
annoying.
it's no bueno.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the vocals are just getting way too overused, so it's
Oh,
kind of
right,
hard.
sure.
So
Yeah.
what I'll do is, or actually what I've been doing lately is taking out a bunch of my old songs, processing all that stuff, and just resampling that stuff.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So like I could go to Splice, you know, and just get like the normal stuff, but I kind of want to like build a sound.
Yeah.
So building that sound, I feel like, so another like tip, I guess, is condensing all your old files and then making some so you could basically have them as samples.
Yeah.
So you can kind of just reference them out back and forth. So it's like, these are kind of samples from other songs.
Like a loop or something? Or?
Yeah, like it could be like kicks, it could be snares, it could
Sure.
be like, you know, the style of like VST piano you made, and kind of apply it to the new one. So that's I think is really cool with like, you know, building out your style and
Yeah.
your sound specifically. But I try to stay away from Splice with vocals. I think they have really cool and really well like percussion elements. I love their kicks and snares, nothing
Yeah.
too crazy. But outside of that, I'll just try to find sample packs online. A really cool one I came across 2 months ago was Ivory had one that was just like
Great producer.
dude, unbelievable. I was like, oh my god. But yeah, that's what probably. I just try to outsource it a lot, or I think it's Black Octopus.
Yeah, they're
Sounds.
good. Yeah.
They've been around forever, and they have some great stuff. So I try to utilize, you know, what's out on the market, and then take that, resample it, and
Yeah.
try to make my own on top of that.
Do you find yourself like maybe using different genre sample packs like for different kinds of music? Like, would you experiment in that way?
Yeah, honestly, that's such a good point. Yeah, I feel like, you know, with the sample pack and genre kind of like curated, I do that when it's like one specific style of song. Like for example, like the melodic stuff, you know, it can kind of go both ways with like dubstep. But I feel like if I have like melodic dubstep, like those kind of mesh too well versus like the pop stuff that I've never really shown anyone.
Okay.
Is like very curates like those type of samples and sounds. You know, but just because like a dubstep snare on like a pop drop just might not work as well. So yeah, to answer your question, I would say yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really want to talk about your remixes. They've had a lot of plays on a lot of streaming platforms from
Crazy.
pop music.
Crazy.
Recent ones were like Gigi Perez and Benson Boone. So yeah, like what do you think is like the importance, or what has it contributed to your career? Kind of taking those popular songs and putting your own spin on them. I mean, they sound unique to you too.
Thank you.
I mean, they're very unique to your sound. So how has that like affected your career? Obviously, it's given you a lot of attention and followers and
Yeah,
plays, right?
yeah.
So like, would that be something you would recommend to other people?
Yeah.
Go that route?
100%. I think they're important because in today's day and age, you know, pop music is always going to be there. And it's like, might as well kind of piggyback off it. You know, it's like when you go to the radio, or do you go to the radio? When you listen to the radio, you could hear Benson Boone or Gigi song, and you're like, oh, and then you remix it, immediately it associates with like, you know, what's this take on this? Or, you know, just because the title, are they going to click on it type of thing? But I do think they're important with getting your name out there nonetheless. You know, it is a very, I'm trying to think of a good word. I don't want to say like saturated, you know, within like the whole dance community, but there's a lot of DJs out there, you know, so it's like you got to find something. So to answer your question, I think remixing pop songs is important because, you know, mainstream people know the song. So it's like kind of cool to like do your own take on it.
Sure.
I've had a lot of success. Very fortunate, very blessed that it's gone the way it has. But, you know, I do think those are important with building a brand, like your artist name, and let alone your sound. Because it's cool because when you have, you know, like the Benson Boone remix, for example, is you can take like a very, you know, very pop mainstream successful song and make like your own take on it. It's like your version of it, which is, to me, I think it's super important. Like I love doing that. Like I'm probably just sitting on like over 100 remixes that I haven't released, like my own versions, you know?
Yeah.
Just stuff that like I just
That's
think
cool.
is cool.
Some live edits, you know?
Yeah. A bunch of IDs.
Okay. How do you make those remixes? Like, do you have to have the stems from the song? Do you like rip the lyrics on your own? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, so it's kind of different, based on the song. Sometimes there'll be like acapellas online. You got to really do some digging. Shout out Reddit. Reddit's so clutch for this stuff. But there's also a bunch of like softwares online where they kind of like once you buy the song, you can throw it in like a software. It'll basically give you like an acapella.
I feel like that's getting better over time too, that kind of technology.
Is. Oh, between the past 2 years,
Really?
night and day difference.
Okay.
Yeah, which is really nice. Now you can put them out, but the only issue is like the copyright now. So it's like you got to be kind of careful.
You gotta have some tricks up your sleeve.
Yeah. But yeah, I think
like on your Benson Boone song.
Yes, that one is 10 minutes.
Yeah,
I was like,
right.
oh my gosh, I can't upload this.
It works though, man. Hey, it's still up there.
It is,
Yeah.
and I felt, that one. It was a pain to get up, but we got it up.
Nice. Maybe like you said, you had a lot of unreleased songs, but
Yeah.
what are some artists that you would like to remix one day, or like maybe future releases that you might have planned?
That's a good question. I would say one song I really want to get out is I have a remix of Marshmello's new song with the Jonas Brothers called Slow Motion. I really want to get out.
Okay.
I'm trying to think, it's just kind of like with doing remixes, it really depends. Like mood. Like for example, with like the MGMT Kids one, like that was just kind of like kind of just random versus like, the GG and the Benson is like kind of more curated towards pop. So it really kind of just depends, what I'm feeling that day.
Okay.
It really switches really quick. Even like the Murata one from 2-3 years ago was like, I'm going to make some crazy tear out today.
Right.
So it just kind of depends for me, how I'm feeling.
So you produce every day, you would say, yeah?
Every day for, this is so bad. I probably produce for a minimum of 8 hours a day.
Really?
Yeah.
Man. How do you stay like disciplined and consistent with your schedule?
So for me personally, I'm like a professional procrastinator. Basically got my
I can relate to that.
Yeah, my master's in it.
Yeah.
So bad. But what I'll do to basically stay disciplined is like wake up every day and kind of have a different approach, because some days are gonna be good, some days are gonna be bad, and just make something, because the more
Just
you
do
do
it,
it, just do it. It's like, I think like a lot of people struggle nowadays is because when they get into like whatever DAW of their choice, they're like, I want to make the #1 song in the world. It just doesn't really work like that. So it's like, just make something that's true to you, and then, maybe the cards fold from there type of thing. So just make something that's like really authentic. But in terms of like staying disciplined, is like what I do is I'll have like 2-3 cups of coffee and just like lock in, like let my phone go off, like just over there, and then try to make something. Like I could sit there for hours and just play the same loop. Like make something that's gonna kind of motivate you for the next part.
Okay.
Instead of like making a whole entire song in one day, it usually takes me 2 or 3 days to make a record. Like kind of like portion it out, because you don't want to have like too much where you're kind of like, oh, am I overdoing it? You start like overthinking it. So it's just make it like super simple. I'm gonna get this done today, that done tomorrow, and then just like come up with different tasks. Or like let's say, you do that, and then I'll do like a 3-hour sound design session or something. Just like have fun, just like try to get new things that maybe you could apply to the original or remix.
Yeah. So you kind of have specific goals that you kind of set out for each day.
Yes.
Or maybe just like different parts of the day, different tasks you would have.
Yep.
What would you do on a day that you're feeling unmotivated? Like how would you get around that feeling?
It's so silly. It's so silly, but this is what I do. As I'll work for like an hour and I'll be like, I'm just not gonna do it.
Yeah.
And then I'll go to YouTube and I'll type in like Lollapalooza 2019, like the year before, 2020.
Yeah.
Or I'll go watch like Tomorrowland or Ultra and be like, wow, like that's something I really want to do. And immediately I'll just kind of like listen to sets or like sometimes I'll just go like drops only and be like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Okay, yeah.
And just see like, is that something that could help? Is it going to motivate you? Like, ooh, like that sounds pretty cool. Maybe I made something that lame type of thing.
Nice. Yeah.
Just trying to like just do something different.
Okay.
Because it is super easy to wake up every single day and do the same thing over and over and over. So it's like just trying to take a different approach day by day and have like different tasks too. Like when you're unmotivated, be like, let's say I work in the next hour instead of like doing it right now. Maybe we need some more time to wake up. Maybe we need some coffee. There's obviously different alternatives. So just trying to like feel out.
Sure.
Like, how you feeling?
So you mentioned the Kids remix.
I did.
And that's kind of where your career, would you say it kind of took off from there?
Yeah, it is crazy. Yeah.
And you kind of mentioned also like you don't want to sit down and you're going to make the next big hit. That's not how it works. You mentioned this was kind of just on a whim.
Yeah.
Like you didn't really have it planned out that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, it has like almost 700K on SoundCloud, I think.
Crazy, yeah. It's wild.
But yeah, just kind of talk about like the story behind that track.
Yeah. So the whole story of it was, this was my junior year of college, and I'm living with 6 of my buddies, and I'm just making like random stuff. I'm just having fun. And I made this remix because growing up, my cousins, they all showed me music. That's how I really got into music as a whole. And like, we can dive into all that stuff later. But so that song was just like super like homey to me. Kind of reminded me of family. I was like, I'm just gonna, if I'm making music,
great
might as well
song, yeah.
remix this, you know?
Classic.
But I can't mess it up.
Yeah.
So I made that remix, and I was showing all my roommates. They're like, "Oh, this is pretty cool," and they kept playing it. So I was like, "It must be like pretty good. I think this is good, right?" Because I'm not really used to that. And then I put it out, and like 6 months. Well, the first 6 months, I think it maybe accumulated like 1,000 streams, which at the time I was like, "Oh my gosh, like, this is the coolest thing ever."
Yeah.
And then 6 months rolled around, the 6th month, and it was going absolutely bonkers. Like I was refreshing SoundCloud, like just watching it, and it was like thousands and thousands and thousands, and
Nice,
the
wow.
likes kept pouring in. I was like, oh my gosh,
Yeah, crazy.
And then now we're here today.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
Did you anticipate that at all when you made it? Obviously
No.
not. But
No.
like, how'd that feel just watching the numbers go up? Pretty much unthinkable levels from, you know, what you
Yeah.
expected or what you had before.
It was crazy. Like I really couldn't even fathom it. I was like, wait, is this real? Like,
Right.
am I in a dream right now? Like, someone wake me up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like, I don't know. It was one of those things where you just like went in there, made music, and then people loved it, I guess.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, holy smokes.
Yeah.
And like just like seeing the plays go so fast, and like I didn't think anything of it when I made it. I was like, this is cool. My roommates like it. I think it's cool. Put it out, and
Nice.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, the rest is history.
Yeah, crazy. Just like the people who played it and downloaded it. I remember sitting with my buddy Ryan. We're making like our resumes because, you know, we're like, we gotta go get jobs.
Right.
And all of a sudden, like Kaivon like messages me. He's like, dude, your MGMT Kids remix is sick. And I'm like, dude, Ryan, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So it's really opened definitely like different doors. Introduced me to a lot of people. The support's been, you know, really unbelievable. I really can't even put into words like how grateful that it's really happened like that. I just
Yeah.
never would have ever even expected something like that to happen, especially so early on with making music. Yeah, it was crazy. It's
And you just opened for Kaivon.
I did.
A year or two ago.
Yes, yep. House of Blues.
Yeah.
Love Kaivon. Shout out Kaivon. He's a homie.
But I think it's cool that you made that like when you were in college, just
Yeah.
like, you know, just for fun.
Yeah.
But that was when you played your first sets, right?
Yeah.
So you've always loved music. Your
Always.
cousins were always showing you stuff.
Always loved music, and I always loved dance music specifically. And
Okay.
growing up, everyone liked rap, and I thought rap was cool, but
Yeah.
like, I don't know, something about like electronic dance music just like really I gravitated towards it. Like seeing like, you know, the like shows and stuff with Lala, and then like the first show I ever saw, I like snuck in, and I was like, oh man, this is so cool. I was like lasers and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
dude,
my
for sure.
parents all this videos like, where are you?
Yeah.
And I was just so like the wow factor, and I was like, I'm just gonna start making music. Might as well.
Yeah.
Now we're here.
For sure. And like, how was it when you were, you know, growing up and playing your first sets? Like you showed me earlier, just a picture of like a sold out crowd at the bar in Iowa City.
Oh my gosh.
So how influential was that for you? Just like seeing what is possible and like that collective energy and like you controlling the party.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was special, you know, to experience that.
It was nothing like I've ever experienced before. It was really cool. And especially with Iowa City, is going to Iowa, I never really thought of like dance music being there, but boy, is it alive and well, which is
Yeah.
really cool to see. And with Summit having the jungle, it was
That's
just
the bar you were playing at.
the bar, it was
Yeah.
like the upstairs.
Okay.
And they had like quite the production, you know, for being a bar. And it was just crazy, you know, just like seeing people's reactions to just like music that, you know, you wouldn't listen to at a tailgate. And it's like, oh my gosh, like that's
Yeah.
a thing. And like, just like it's such like a good feeling when you like look down and people are just going like, wow, I'm doing something right. So it was pretty cool. And then like it was pretty wild having like there's a lot of artists who were at Iowa City. So for example, you have Twin, who I think is hands down the best guitar player in the world. I'll
That's going
vouch
on
for him.
tape, you know?
Yeah,
It's out there now.
Yeah, and then the Levity Boys at the same time, which is crazy because it was like, oh my gosh, it'd be back to back to back. It's like who could go crazy?
Oh,
Who
really?
Go crazy? Who go crazy?
You guys would play shows together?
Yeah.
Cool.
So it would kind of be every month there'd be a show, and then there'd be a lineup, and then they'd kind of, you know, make a flyer, and there'd be someone that'd post around Iowa City, and then we'd sell tickets or I think I had a few tickets I'd just like give away to my girlfriend. It's like
Yeah.
go have fun type of thing. You know, everyone have a good time. And we'd sell it out, and it'd be just be the craziest things. It was just like in college too, where, you know, everyone's just like binge drinking, so it's
yeah.
like just a whole different level of
Right.
oh my gosh, the wow factor.
That's cool you were playing shows with Levity though back
Yeah.
then. I didn't realize you were playing the shows with them.
Yeah.
So what's it been like to, I mean, you found success on your own too, but they're at a crazy level right now.
It's so cool to
So
see.
how's it cool? How is it to see like someone you kind of grew up with in the scene, like
Yeah.
experience that success?
It's so cool to see. I'm so proud and happy for them. Like,
Yeah.
It's awesome. them closed down. I think it's EDC Thailand. I was like, that's awesome.
Oh, really?
That's
Wow.
cool to see. Yeah.
Dope.
So they're doing really well. I love when other people are having success. Like you only wish the best for everyone else, and to see them grab to do such like a huge world tour and everything goes great is just, I love seeing that. It seems like everything's going great from them. With I think it was the Flip It song did really well, which is really cool to see. I was like, I love that. That's cool to see.
Yeah, it's cool to see other people that just experience success and like support them in that endeavor.
Oh, I'll support everyone till the day I die.
For sure.
You got a dream, chase it, have fun
Yeah,
with
man.
it.
So like talking about your first DJ sets,
Yeah.
how did you make the transition from that into producing music? Was that always were you like a instrumental, like were you a guitar player growing up? You have instruments, experience with like music theory?
I know how to play the keyboard. No, what's it called? No,
You know how to play the computer keyboard.
Yeah, the computer keyboard. That's what it was. Yeah.
But like, how did you learn how to make high quality music?
Oh, thanks, dude.
Yeah.
Well, it really just came down to just putting the hours in.
Okay.
I really try to push myself. So me personally, I have such an addictive personality, and I'm super competitive towards myself. So, with that being said, I'll tell myself 8 hours a day minimum. Like just basically put a standard into place and try to get as much stuff as you can done. I think like another important thing is like everyone's like, oh, motivation's great, but like with motivation you have to have discipline. You can be motivated for an hour, but are you gonna be disciplined to the next 2 hours type of thing?
Or do it the day after that, and the day
Exactly.
after that.
Yeah. So what I would do is basically make as many songs as I could and send them to my cousin Patrick, who actually came up with the whole entire System Kids brand as a whole. And I basically text him like every other day, still to this day, and he's probably like, "What are you doing?" Like I'm just bother him at this point.
Yeah.
But basically just getting like my laps in. I guess, is that the word?
Sure.
Get my runs
the
in.
time in the 10,000 hours.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I do, and then just try to make like a pool of genres. Like, don't make one specific genre because that's all you're gonna know. So just trying different lanes. Like, everything's not gonna sound good. It's out of 1,000 songs.
Yeah, especially when you're getting started, which is hard.
Exactly. Yeah, because you're so, it's easy with that mental game to be like, oh, this doesn't sound as good as this, or this is. It's like don't compare yourself. In a world, like today with social media at our fingertips, it's so easy to go out there and compare. Like, why does my record not sound as good as this? Like, just keep doing it. Like, don't compare yourself, because when you can kind of compare yourself, you really kind of like knock yourself down. Not purposefully. It's more kind of accidental. I just get reps in. It kind of sucks, like you gotta,
When you're getting started, it sounds like shit. It definitely
exactly.
is hard.
Yeah, and you have to suck it up. Like, there's gonna be good songs, there's gonna be bad songs. No matter what, you kind of just gotta embrace it. Like, it is what it is, and it's funny looking back. Like my first remix, oh my god, it's not even a remix. I took someone's track and added a kick, and that's it. But the kick isn't even timed out.
Yeah.
Oh my, it's the funniest thing now. Like where we are today, it's just like hilarious to see. Full circle.
Did you experiment with other genres a lot, or were you always in the bass music realm?
I did. I honestly did. In terms of like dance music specifically, not like metal rock.
Did you ever make like beats or anything like that, hip hop?
I did, but I never showed them.
Okay.
The type of thing. They were just so bad.
Yeah, you definitely found your lane, I'd say.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I did make beats. I remember in high school we just make beats and rap over them, and it was just like, oh man, this is never gonna see the light of day.
Man, you gotta release those.
No, Trevor, no.
Yeah.
I think there's still like some old stuff out there. I'm not telling anyone where to find it or how
different
to
alias,
find it.
probably.
It's probably just like my first and last name. Who knows?
Okay.
But
Jack Hood, by the
yeah.
way.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
No, I kind of just like stayed in electronic dance music, but made pop music, bass music.
Okay.
Like the super aggressive tear out stuff just to try it, and then melodic stuff. I just kind of really gravitated towards the melodic stuff. I thought it was really cool, and seeing all these melodic shows, just like, I think it's cool to see how audiences captivate. With, for example, like Illenium, everyone, it's so his music is so like warm, and people love it. So it's cool to see, like how trap music is more aggressive, or maybe not like dubstep is like, everything's just kind of different. So I really kind of gravitated towards the melodic side because I thought it was cool with like the chords. I like that feel good stuff. Like my goal is I want to make someone feel good, and just feel like home.
Yeah,
that's the goal.
I found some great music on your profile,
Thanks, dude.
like the remixes, like on your related tracks and stuff too.
Let's go.
Twin Sick, this remix of the Lumineers is so good.
Oh.
Gotta show it to you later. But,
Yeah, please do. Please do.
but yeah, I like how you make that kind of old, not old school, but like
Yeah.
kind of like old feeling future bass, melodic bass.
That's exactly what we're trying to go for.
Yeah.
I want to bring back like nostalgia. That's just my goal. I love like nostalgic, like just OG stuff where you listen to it the first time and you're like, I love that. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to mix like old school with the new school type of thing, but not too old where it's like
kind of outdated. Yeah.
Versus just find a good blend.
Yeah.
That's that's like the main goal is just find the middle ground.
Sure.
The middle ground.
I mean, would you say your music is future bass? Some of the songs?
Yeah, you could definitely label it as that. I feel like that's probably the best. Yeah,
Okay.
because you have like
Melodic bass,
It's like the same
maybe.
thing.
Yeah.
I put it in the same category.
Sure. But I love how you have like remixes of like Cascade, Florence and the Machine, and MGMT, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
So like, how influential is like, again, talking about older music, like the 2010s era, like what we grew up on. How influential is that to you, and like, do you enjoy kind of bringing that stuff back into the world? You know?
I think it really is influential for where I find sounds because I kind of gravitate towards that sounds those sounds
Yeah.
as a whole, and I kind of want to bring those back because with those first time you listen to MGMT or just like Emperor of the Sun and it was just like, oh my gosh, I love this.
Yeah.
Like Walking on a Dream was like
So good.
oh my
Oh,
God.
man.
Put the windows down, we're going for a cruise.
Yeah. Wiz Khalifa remix, especially.
Yeah,
so
unbelievable.
good.
Finally got released. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like really like love older music. I feel like there's so many gems, with older music that I kind of want to bring back and just do like the new kind of style with it.
Yeah.
So I just try to remix it and make it make sense to me as the sound, and just like make sure it's just I want to like bring the nostalgia feeling.
Sure.
So like that's why I have so many unreleased remixes is because I get in my mind of are they going to make sense, with like putting them out. So that's kind of the reason why I have a lot of that stuff. But I have so many remixes of that old style stuff. I mean, we get like I have remixes all the way back to like the Police,
Oh wow.
like
nice.
way back
Love to
when.
hear that. Yeah.
So it goes back.
What were some of your first like favorite electronic music artists? Like when did you fall in love with EDM at first?
So I fell in love with EDM when this was I think 7th or 8th grade. My cousin Patrick, to bring it back up,
He was a big influence on you.
he's the biggest influence. God bless his soul.
Yeah.
And he would throw parties in his basement. He was a DJ, and he was so good at it.
Okay.
And I would just look at from like a little kid's perspective, like everyone's loving this. I'm like, what is this? So he just like kind of was so influential in bringing that back, and I just like kind of fell in love because then he showed me dance music with like I think it was LimeWire. I think it was called.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Throwback.
Way throwback. And it was, the Dead Mouse days, and then Shiba-san. Sorry if I butchered that. And then like Wave Racer remixes. And then after that kind of day and age, we went to, RL Grime
Sure.
and all those crazy remixes. I just kind of really was like the wow factor for me of like, how can someone make this and people love it? Like I love like the nitty gritty of things. Like, why do people like that? Like production that you can bring it. It's just, I go on and on about that, but nonetheless, yeah, Dead Mouse was super influential in the early days. RL Grime, with the trap remixes,
OGs,
the Love Sosa, all that stuff.
Okay,
Oh,
so
yeah.
good.
So good.
Yeah.
And then, Alice in Wonderland also had some terrific stuff
Sure.
back then. There's like so many of them where you just like draw a blank, I just have to like go back. Oh, Flume.
Oh, man,
my
Flume was so
gosh.
good.
Flume was just next level for me. I was
Yeah.
like, this is unbelievable.
Yeah. Really unique artist for sure.
So unique.
Yeah.
It was Flume is Flume. Now I just forever say that. The way he makes songs and structures and his sound selection is so specific to him. I think it's really cool. And then also another really important artist, Nightmare. Nightmare's unbelievable with like his old remixes, like way back when. Diplo, honestly, too. I know he's so mainstream, but
Yeah. Really good DJ also. His live
Really?
are great.
I feel like I've never seen him, but I've seen videos
He's
of
good,
it.
yeah.
It looks
He knows how to play to a
unbelievable.
crowd,
Does he? Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Makes sense.
Like talking about playing to a crowd, when you play, do you kind of go in and improvise, or do you have an idea of like how things are going to flow?
Ooh, so it kind of depends, honestly. Based on the show, I'll kind of read the room. I'll always have a set list made no matter what. But if
And that would go in order usually.
yeah, always
Your
in
idea
order.
of
Yeah,
ideal
always.
set list? Yeah.
Yes, yep. And I always make like 2 or 3 at a time. And it's always so last minute. It's so bad.
That's how I do everything. So.
Oh yeah. So I'll make like 2 or 3 of them, or I'll use like a previous set and just kind of play like I'll basically put like 2 sets and combine them as one, based on crowd reaction, like what they vibing with the most, and just kind of like read the room, because you want to make sure people are having a good time. That's why they came to see you. So make sure they have a good time. You want to make sure this everyone's having a good time. The party's going. Just keep going from there.
Sure. Your North Coast set, so I caught some of it. It was awesome.
Thanks.
It's on SoundCloud.
Thank you. Yeah.
Would that be one of your more memorable sets? And like, why was it special for you?
Yeah, I think it's super memorable because it was my first time going to North Coast. So to even be playing and going at the same time was like quick mind blown.
Yeah.
Pretty dope. Yeah, I think it's super special playing.
That was your first festival?
First festival too. Yeah. So that was fun.
You've been in the labs for so long. You got to get out there and go to more fests.
I need to go touch grass. Yeah, it was super memorable. Going to that festival and playing, let alone on Sunday.
Yeah, I love your set, man. It was dope.
And the set time too, playing later was like, holy smokes. That was cool. But yeah, to kind of like experience that environment from the artist's perspective, versus going to different festivals as like a festival goer, just like going to see the music. It was a little different. I thought it was really cool. It's super memorable, just playing that, getting that feeling of like, you getting that message or that email like, hey, you want to play this? You're like, oh my gosh, like they're asking me, which I thought was really just like, whoa. Yeah, it was really cool. Like I get like goosebumps even talking about it because it was so memorable. Shout out that whole North Coast team. That was really cool. It was just a great time. Like I can't put into words, honestly. It was just fun. It was just something I've never experienced anything like before.
Nice. What are some other shows or like festivals on your radar this year? I guess it's not, maybe you can't talk about it yet, but maybe what are you planning for this upcoming year?
Yeah. I would honestly just love to play like Dream Festivals. To answer this is
that's what I was gonna ask you also. Yeah, let's hear it.
All right. These are not in order. Not in order. Okay. So Lollapalooza, just because it's the hometown. Yeah. I want to play Ultra really, really badly. Those
that worldwide stage.
Oh my gosh, I go on and on about it. And then Tomorrowland is just because Tomorrowland's
legendary.
Legendary. I also want to play Electric Forest. I've just heard like it is just so
pretty cool place. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the whole scene of all that stuff. I think it's cool. It's like its own area. I think Lost Lands would be really cool just because Lost Lands. It's such a cool festival. And then ACL. Also another great one.
That'd be tough.
They
don't have many DJs.
That's the hard part.
It's a cool spot.
Yeah. So you'd be kind of like your own entity there.
Yeah.
Which could be different,
Yeah.
Could bring something to the table. But nonetheless, those are like the first ones that kind of come to mind that are just so memorable. But just like watching their live streams and me like hoping one day, to get the opportunity to play those.
Yeah. And maybe what are some artists that you would like to collab with one day? Like what are your dream collabs?
Ooh, my dream collabs. It's probably gonna be super random because I look at it as like who would make sense, So we could do a couple like dance ones.
Yeah.
Nightmare and Night is just all around such a versatile, amazing artist. Slander, I know those are like two mainstream guys.
I mean, they were very influential in trap scene.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm trying to think like outside of electronic dance music. Ooh, the Lumineers.
Okay.
The Lumineers would be crazy different, but I think we could find a great.
You gotta remix them.
I know.
That'd be dope. Yeah.
They just got that new album that came out. That I had to go funnel through and see which ones would be best. Okay. And then I'm trying to think. Ooh, Petite Biscuit. Petite Biscuit, Porter Robinson. Really random, but I know Tate McRae has just phenomenal voice.
Yeah.
I think that could be a really cool like balance between those two, and the way her style is right now, I think we could just come something crazy.
Yeah, it's like trap pop. Some of it.
It's
pretty cool.
It's like its own lane. It's really unique. It's cool, and like I like how she's doing a bunch of dance remixes too, like that are official, which is cool, which brings to the table.
Who are some of your biggest inspirations? Like talking about Nightmare and Slander, but who else really motivates you and like kind of opens your mind to different kinds of music?
Yeah. It kind of started when I was little. It's Akon.
Really?
Yeah, Akon is just like so. His music was unbelievable.
Yeah,
I thought it was really cool growing up. So that's the reason I got into music, like liking all that stuff. But like who's a dream collab? Honestly, I would have to say Michael Jackson. I know he's not here with us, R.I.P. But Michael Jackson, unbelievable. Just like his voice, I think would be really cool. I know it's super random, like out of all the names.
Definitely one of the best artists of all time. So
literally, I think the best artist of all time. I've been watching a lot of his old music videos lately, so I thought I was like, It'd be unbelievable.
For sure.
I'm trying to think really who else, I guess it really just kind of depends, like the mood, like who am I feel like what would make sense that day, like based on whatever we made, like who would be the best to kind of sit on top of this or collab with.
So let's just talk about your newest song a little bit more, just because it's coming out tomorrow. We touched on it at the beginning.
Crazy, I know.
This is like a dubstep track.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
So maybe who are some of your favorite dubstep artists, and like, how do you make a dubstep song compared to your melodic stuff?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Definitely favorite dubstep artists, Zomboy, just unbelievable all around. That's probably the first thing that comes to mind. Obviously, it's OG Skrillex.
Oh, yeah.
You can never skip that.
Right.
Snails is also unbelievable, too.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, but with that type of approach, it's definitely way more different. So what I like, for example, with High Score is what I did is basically build a world of how can I make it true to myself while also making it unique in itself. So like with this record, I took a different approach of building out like a video game, just because I play a decent amount of video games. So how can I connect this with still some like melodic elements while also making a dubstep? So I try to do that, with the intro while still making it like System Kid-ish, and then taking that and making a dubstep from there. And like with the whole dubstep part, like I've never released anything this crazy. Like it's like, holy smokes, it's wild.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the approach, but like
Then the Router remix might be up there too.
it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, which I'm excited for. It's kind of tear out-ish, and yeah, just kind of like build a world. Like to answer your question, is like build a world of like what I could see this becoming, and then putting it out to the world.
Sure. And like, what else do you have planned for this year? You had the Rise EP last year.
Yep.
And this is your first single of this year.
It is, yeah.
Do you have a lot more remixes or originals on the horizon? Like, what do you have on the release radar for yourself?
So this is the first time saying this. Next 4 months, originals every single month.
Nice.
And they're all dubstep.
Okay.
But the next single, so next month, is actually drum and bass. I've never made drum and bass. This is my first drum and bass song.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do something completely different. Just change a little bit, versus like the melodic stuff. And then towards like July, there'll be more kind of like pop melodic stuff I kind of want to try out.
Sure.
Hopefully release originals too. So
yeah,
go from there. Yeah.
Do you have any shows? Like, would you ever headline a show, like another pop-up? You think you could do that again?
Love to do a pop-up. Would love to do a headliner show. I have no shows right now in the books, but we're working on it, Okay. Yeah, I definitely think the next thing in Chicago is definitely pop-up. So that's what I'm thinking
We'll be there, yeah.
Let's do it.
Cool. I think we're going to wrap it up in a second.
Yeah.
But would you have anything else you want to share with the audience, or like, aspiring producers that, maybe are motivated by you, or like your music? Like, what would you tell the people listening right now?
Ooh, yeah, just be true to yourself. Try to find your sound. Don't try to put a lot of pressure on yourself. Kind of live in the moment. With social media, there's a lot of distractions. Just straight true to you. Just find what you really gravitate to and just apply that in your everyday. Easier said than done, but try to stay positive. Keep your head up. I think it's important if you have the motivation and you're happy throughout the day. You also want to have discipline, but just kind of live every moment. It's just like have fun. That's the bottom line. Have fun with whatever you do. Don't overwork yourself. Work yourself where it makes sense. Don't overdo it. Just have fun. Be yourself and just be true to who you are.
And remember why you got into this in the first place, because you love it. It's fun for you.
Exactly. Like you love it. It's just cool. Like making new sounds and different shows. It's just it's so cool.
Yeah. Well, it's been great watching you blow up a little bit, man. Thank you for the early support for Premier DM. You followed me when I first started that website.
Dude, I love
I've been watching you do your thing.
Your
vlogs,
dude. I've been following since day one.
Yeah, you have, honestly. But yeah, man, let's do this again sometime.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Thanks for having me, dude.
For sure.